So in the kitchen today, we're not just making one recipe, we're making two recipes. Because as if our applesauce bread that we're going to be baking up is not good enough, we're going to make a whipped peanut butter topping that we can spread on that warm bread. So let's get started. I have my oven preheating to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Here in a minute you may hear it beep to let me know it's ready, but in the meantime I wanted to show you the loaf pan that I'm going to be using today is a silicone loaf pan, and if I were using one of my metal ones or a glass one, what I would do is I would grease the inside of them and then I would use parchment paper on the bottom of those. But this silicone is supposed to be, it's supposed to be non-stick. Now, it is recommended to use a little melted butter on the inside of this, but I'm going to try this today. I've not tried it before, but I'm going to try this today just to see how it turns out. So we'll be watching this together. So let me get my melted butter and get the inside of this greased. So there you go. I've got that greased and I'm going to just set it to the side. As I said, our recipe for today is an applesauce bread, and we start out with just a couple of cups, 2 cups of white all-purpose flour, and this is going to be a sweet bread, of course, and we are going to be adding a cup. You see it's well packed, a cup of brown sugar, and the recipe called for 1 1/3 cup of brown sugar, but I didn't quite have enough brown sugar. That was how much it had left of the third, so I've got the brown sugar here. I'm going to add some white sugar just to make up the difference, and it's still going to be perfect. All right, there's the white and there's the brown. So there is 1 1/3 cups of sugar. It should have all been brown sugar, but that little bit of white sugar is perfectly fine. So next, let's get our spices. Two teaspoons of cinnamon and 1 teaspoon of nutmeg. Going to put in a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Now I know it aggravates some people when I emphasize whether it's baking powder or baking soda, but believe me, there is a difference, so you do want to be mindful of which one you're using. And the last dry ingredient is a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And I'm just going to break that brown sugar up in there. And stir all of that together. Getting in here and making sure your stuff's all... I can't feel with a spoon, I can feel with my hand. See, like there is a little hard clump right there of brown sugar that... Listen to this. Yeah, just like a rock, and I wouldn't want that in my bread and me bite into it and end up breaking a tooth. So yeah, I can't feel that with a spoon, but I can feel that if I'm in here and making sure I'm not having to make a trip to the dentist. All right, I have got that, and that took care of our dry ingredients. So let me move on to the wet. Our next ingredients are going to be our wet ingredients, and here I have partially melted my coconut oil, which is about 1/4 cup of coconut oil. Now, if you've only got vegetable oil, you can certainly use that. Butter, but I have coconut oil, and to me it just lends a special taste to the applesauce bread. And this is 1½ tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, 1 cup of applesauce, and 1/4 cup of water. And those are just going to get mixed together. I'm going to bring the 2 of these back over. Make a little well in the bottom of this. And pour that in. Now, just to combine the 2 of these, your wet and dry ingredients, together. And this is the point if you want to add nuts or raisins or whatever addition you would like to put in there. I'm just going to add some pecans. You can add up to 2/3 of a cup of whatever your optional ingredients are. And I just had some pecan bits left over and had them in the freezer. And I'm just going to fold those in there. It's looking good, isn't it? It's smelling good. All right. Well, let's get it in the pan now. Well, I've got that in the loaf pan, and I'm going to stick it in the oven for about 50 to 60 minutes or until a skewer or toothpick comes out clean. While the applesauce bread is baking, I thought we would go ahead and do our whipped peanut butter. Now, the peanut butter starts out, I went on ahead and got a big bowl because anytime I'm using powdered sugar, I'm going to have it everywhere if I try to use a smaller bowl. So forgive me for using this, what looks like a wash tub, but I have a 1/2 cup of powdered sugar here, and I am going to add 1 cup of creamy peanut butter to it, just like that. This is a quarter cup of heavy cream, about a teaspoon, and you always know I pour more in there. I rarely measure my vanilla extract, but that's supposed to be about a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then a pinch of salt. Now, I've gotten out my hand mixer for this because I know that it can mix things better than I can by hand most of the time. So I am just going to put it to work and whip up this peanut butter. Now, you may be wondering, gosh, what am I going to do with all this whipped peanut butter, because I'm not going to use all of that on the bread. Well, you can use it on pancakes. You can use it for frosting on top of, well, cupcakes, muffins, whatever you would like. And, you know, who doesn't like peanut butter on a spoon? So, may not be the healthiest snack in the world, but it's pretty darn good. So, let's get mixed. if I still had 3 boys at the house. They would be lined up for the beaters because, you know, look at this. Isn't that beautiful? That looks so nice and creamy. Would make such a fabulous frosting. If you have somebody in the family that is a chocolate and peanut butter lover, what about a devil's food cake with this on top of it? Or as a filling? Yeah, I'm thinking that would be pretty tasty. I was right. So here it is. It is the applesauce bread with whipped peanut butter on top. And let's give it a try. Sorry, trying not to talk with my mouth full. This top here, I don't know if you can see that or not, but this top here is almost caramelized. It's where it baked in the oven and got kind of crispy on the very top of it. The inside is extremely moist. That applesauce just made the moistness, but that very top almost tastes like caramel because I guess that brown sugar that was in the mixture on top, when it cooked, it kind of become crispy, and wow, just it's like eating caramel apples when you're at the fair or whatever. That's a lot of what that very top tastes like. Wow. Big old glass of milk. This would be a meal by itself. That is so good. I'm fixing to go heat me up some coffee because my mid-afternoon snack, I know what it's gonna be. And I'm not passing this off as health food in any way, but it does have apples in it, and it does have peanut butter in it. So does that count as health food? Your doctor's probably not gonna agree, but I'm telling you, it'll cure what ails you. So give it a try. I'll have the list of the recipe. I'll have a list of the ingredients down below, and give this a try and let me know what you think about it. If you have not subscribed, please hit that little bell and give me a thumbs up and all that kind of good stuff, and that way you'll get notified of any future videos. And I hope you try this. I'm fixing to finish mine. You have a wonderful afternoon. I love y'all. Mountain Patriot Homestead, signing out.